Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your NFL Sunday, Week 14. Yes, just a few weeks of the NFL season left, and we're in December. These games are for Sunday, December 8th. Nope. These games are for Sunday, December 7th. Where has the year gone? Let's finish strong today with a big group of free plays. Of course, people always ask, what are your best plays? We've got a deal for you. You can get in on our best plays. There'll be over 10 plays this week. That includes football, all football, so college football and the NFL. 2-for-1 pass, both me and IC for just $99. It's usually $99 a piece. If you go over to the website, you will not find this. You only can get it at this link, docsports.com/Craig Arun. If you want in on the extra plays we do, all the plays that just miss our card, make sure you get on the YouTube premium level. Level 1's Lenny. Level 2, you get Indy and Cowboy and Lenny. And level 3, you get me, plus those other two for just $49.99 a month. These are the prices that are per
The
month.
edge. The
Link is in the description to get in on any of these. As IC just said, it gets you the edge on your book. Okay, let's get right to these NFL plays for this week. First game, I see you're going to knock us out. Miami Dolphins at the Jets. If you would have said after the Dolphins' slow start, they had a chance this season to finish over 500, I would have laughed at you. But there's definitely a case for that now. And another game they're favored this week. Miami Dolphins favored by 2.5, total 40.5 against this Jets team that's just 3-9 on the year. What do you like?
So, I mean, look, here's the deal. You have a Miami team that's favored by 2.5 on the road. They're 5-7. With all this turmoil going all across the college world and even the NFL, the Dolphins have been pretty steady in calmness, right? And that's allowed them to win 21-17, 16-13, and 30-13 over Buffalo, Washington, and New Orleans. They're quietly 5-7 at this point. They're facing a Jets team who they beat earlier this year, 27-21. The Jets come into this game beating my Falcons as a 3-point dog. They've never covered 5 in a row. They beat the Bengals, the Browns, and Atlanta. They lost against Atlanta, Baltimore. Mind you, they covered both of those games as well. So obviously Tyrod Taylor has been sort of like your Trent Dilfer of the world. They just need some decent offense, and they can take care of their defense, it certainly looks like. But the Dolphins come here as a -2 chalk. The Jets can certainly get revenge. I just don't think the Jets will duplicate their level of success here. I don't think they get revenges here as well. I think the Dolphins are playing really well right now. And I got to tell you, that win against Buffalo, and I thought the Saints were playing really hard coming in too. The question here is, with the -2 especially, so on the money line, is can the Jets win this game? Now, the Jets did beat my Falcons, but my Falcons also don't have a playmaker either because Kirk Cousins is not the answer, okay? So when you put that into effect, and the fact they lost to Baltimore and New England, and they beat the Browns and the Bengals, but both those teams are banged up, I'm going to take the Dolphins here -2. Even though these Jets have revenge, I just don't think they'll come through here with back-to-back decent efforts. Craig, the Saints hooking up against the Bucks here. The Saints are an 8.5-point dog coming in. They are 2-10. My 8-unit future on the Saints under 4.5 still looks pretty darn good. So keep that in mind. The Saints lost 17-21 to Miami, lost to my Falcons 10-24. The only game they were favored in outside of the Giants game, which they did win. Tampa Bay comes in off of a 20-17 win over Arizona, but did not cover. Tampa Bay is 7-5. The Saints are 2-10. Tampa Bay did beat them 23-3 earlier this year. What do you think here? You're going to take the Saints with a little bit of revenge, or you're going to take the Bucks to sort of bust out here?
Yeah, I mean, if you just said Tampa Bay was rolling, looked like they were going to really coast home in this division, and then all of a sudden Carolina caught fire, and they're 7-6. Still have a bye coming up, whereas Tampa Bay 7-5 already had their bye. So it's a pretty big game here. You have to no letdown here because Carolina's coming. They're not going to go away. They have a good run game, and their defense is playing well. So to me, I think this is a motivation game. I think there's no letdown here. We saw the first matchup was a blowout. I think it's going to be similar here. I would have tried to find a way to play the Saints if they had a better quarterback situation, but their quarterback room has given them very little hope this year. I mean, it doesn't really matter who has started. It has not been pretty long term. I think it continues this week. Last week, Baker was banged up, so that's why I think they didn't play as well. He'll be a little healthier this week, and I think Baker and the company gets it done -8.5. All right, so next game we have here, Colts at the Jaguars, and man, the Colts were the darling of the league, just 4 or 5 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden, the schedulers became a lot more difficult, and now this team's lost a few in a row, and now they're in a dogfight to win the division with both this Jacksonville team and Houston. Colts are still favored here. I was a little surprised, -2, total 47.5. Can the Jaguars get this win here at home as an underdog?
Well, I'll tell you this. The Colts losing back-to-back games is significant. Losing to the Texans and to the Chiefs both losses of which nothing to shy at, losing to both of them. This team has not lost 3 in a row all year. They hadn't lost back-to-back games all year, nevertheless 3 in a row. Jacksonville comes off big wins against Arizona and Tennessee, 25-3 against Tennessee. One of their widest margins of the year, a victory outside of that Chargers game. I don't really trust Jacksonville here coming off that big of a win, to be honest with you. You have Lawrence went 16 for 27, 229 yards in that game. But it's more that Tennessee just not playing well. And then you have a Colts team that just lost back-to-back games to the Texans 16-20 and 20-23, both tight losses. And if you take a look at these Colts, you'll see that, you have Daniel Jones that went for, 14 for 27, 201, and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. These two teams have not met this year. I don't think the Colts will lose 3 in a row. I like the fact the Colts come off of only 16 points in their last game as well, which is a season low, I believe. I like the fact that Jacksonville comes off giving up 3 points in their last game, which is a season low for them. So it's probably a letdown. And you combine all this by, yes, Colts cornerback, Sauce Gardner has a calf strain. He's likely to miss some time here. But I think at the end of the day, I think what you're going to look for is the Colts team that are going to be really focused, looking to avoid losing 3 straight here in a game that they got to win. Give me the Colts.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on all the great content we have here at Doc Sports.
Craig, the Seahawks here minus 7-point favorite against my Hawks. This is a homecoming, by the way, for Coach Mike McDonald, who went to high school in Georgia. So this will be interesting. A lot of Seahawks fans will be there. Remind me to tell you something off the air, which is very important about this. But you have a Seahawks team that comes off big wins against Minnesota, 26-0 and 30-24 over Minnesota and Tennessee. The Seahawks are for real, and the shot they took on this young defensive coordinator of the Baltimore Ravens has worked out for this team, who used to be the defensive coordinator for the other Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh. So this McDonald was only a grad assistant at Georgia for a while. And then he was picked up by teams, and the next thing you know, he's sitting here at this, late 30s, I think, head coaching this team. Seahawks already beat these Falcons 34-14 last year. What happens here, Craig? Seahawks off a big win, shutting off the Vikings. The Falcons are just an abysmal mess here with obviously no Penix Jr. for the rest of the season, losing 24-27 to the Jets. What do you think happens here? I'll tell you what I think about it, but what do you think happens here?
Well, I mean, what a division. If you just said this division was going to have 3 teams at this point of the year that all have 9 wins, 9-3 the Rams, 9-3 Seattle, 9-4 San Francisco. I mean, you can't have any letdowns from here on out if you're any of these teams because, well, a letdown, all of a sudden now you don't have a home advantage, and to be honest, one of these teams could end up being the overall number 1 seed because it's right there for the taking. I think this is just too much to ask for Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta has not done much since Penix has been out. I thought Kirk Cousins was going to be the best backup in the league. I no longer think that's the case. In fact, I think he's not even in the top half of backups. And at this point, I think he's hurting the team more than helping the team. The defense hasn't been terrible, but I think against this Seattle team's playing great on both sides of the ball. I think it's just too much. I can't believe I'm laying double back-to-back games here. I'm laying big numbers, a touchdown or more, but that's the case this week. I think Seattle, no letdown here. Seattle, even in the 1 o'clock slot, I like them here minus the 7 at your Atlanta
and I will
Falcons.
say Jamarcus Weston is supposed to be active for this game. He's a linebacker, so they've added more depth. And Drake London remains questionable for my Falcons, the wide receiver.
Yeah, and at this point, with where the Falcons are, I don't think you rush anybody back because this is not going to be the year you make the playoffs. Next game, Steelers. Mike Tomlin definitely on the hot seat. John Harbaugh, on the hot seat as well here for the Ravens. Both these teams are 6-6. Ravens are favored by 5.5, total 43.5. I think loser here. They play 2 times in the between now and the rest of the year. But I think the loser here probably doesn't make the playoffs. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers off of a couple bad losses to the Bills and to the Bears. This Aaron Rodgers experiment, unfortunately, as we expected, Rodgers got hurt, and then Rudolph came in, but 10 for 21, 117 yards last game. The Steelers were just not efficient. The Bills finally won. Pittsburgh only passed for 108 yards, and they rushed for 58 yards as well. Look, you have a Steelers team that's lost back-to-back games coming. Last time they did that, they beat the Colts 27-20 as a 3-point dog. You have a Baltimore team that comes off of a loss to the Bengals after having won 5 in a row in this game. These two teams have not met this year, but the Ravens have won back-to-back times. I think, when you look at this team, and keep in mind the Steelers will be without Derek Harmon, right, the defensive tackle, and they have Patrick Queen as well, and James Pierre is still in concussion protocol. Yeah, obviously, this game matters for the AFC North for tiebreakers are concerned, et cetera. But I'm going to take the Ravens here. I think the Ravens here. I know the Steelers have double revenge, but with Rodgers somewhat banged up and not playing particularly well, I just don't trust that the Steelers can be as effective. At the end of the day, I know these Baltimore teams beat 5 games under 500, but I think after having such a bad game at home on a nationally televised game, I think that Lamar Jackson bounces back after a 246-yard, no touchdown, 1 interception performance. So I'm going to look, the Bengals were up pretty big in that game, and this was an ugly loss for a Ravens team that was favored by 7.5. That's just too ugly for me to ignore. I'm going to back the Ravens here minus the 5.5. Craig, Washington here plus 2-point underdog to Minnesota. Washington is 3-9, and you have Minnesota 4-8. Neither of these teams are going to the playoffs. Washington is playing hard. Lost by 3 to the Dolphins. Lost by 1 to Denver and home as a 6-point dog. Minnesota, by the way, has scored 6 points in their last 2 weeks. They've gotten outscored 6-49. Lost to Seattle. Lost to Green Bay. They've lost 4 straight covers as well. Ugly game, likely. These two teams haven't met since 2022. I will tell you that there are going to be some fans that are hoping that their teams lose this game, so at least they can get a decent draft pick. Jaden Daniels is close to returning from his dislocated elbow. He's got a chance to start in Week 14, so we'll see what happens. J.J. McCarthy is expected to clear concussion protocol as well, so he's likely to start possibly as well. Justin Jefferson is healthy and ready to go as well. What do you think?
I'm not sure J.J. McCarthy's an upgrade. It's like the way he's played. I mean, if what I read was correct, he has like the worst QB rating of any starter. The first X games, I think it was 10 games of his career. That's
yeah. He's definitely tricked a lot of people with this meditating stuff. They're like, oh, he meditates, he must be good. No, dude. I mean, Lamar Jackson doesn't meditate, and he's good.
He had one good year at Michigan with some of the great talent. I mean, that team was loaded, both offense and defense. I like Jalen Daniels. I think Daniels going to come back this week. If not, Mariota's played great. He played great last week. Denver is for real, and that Denver defense is really good, and they did all they needed to do to have a chance to win on that two-point conversion late. Give me the Washington. I want to say Redskins, but they're not. The Washington Commanders +2 in this one. Don't go run into the window to bet this one. These are two bad teams, and at this point, like you said. Are you trying to win? Are you trying to get better draft picks? We're at that point of the year where you start to worry about their motivation.
How's it? Sign up for our free $60 with the premium selections, which is docsports.com/ICCT. You get free $60 with the premium selections so you can try us out. It's the best way to kind of thank us for all the hard work that we do, along with liking and subscribing and joining on YouTube Premium.
Next game, my Bengals, great win on Thanksgiving night. So they have an extended rest period. So hopefully they'll get T. Higgins back this week. They're just 4-8 on the season. But remember last year, they finished strong. I think they have a chance to do so again. It's a big task here. Buffalo, -5 here. Ugly loss or ugly win at Pittsburgh last week. Can they get it done again this week? Total 52.5.
Yeah, I mean, what I would say is the Bengals here are 4-8, and the Buffalo is the inverse, 8-4. Bengals huge win with Burrow in their last game as he came back because I guess he doesn't want a good draft pick, but he's also a competitor as well, and he wants to show, especially on a prime time, to increase his stock that he's still available, he can still play and all that stuff. And these guys are looking at their brand as well. Buffalo comes into this game after a big win against Pittsburgh, 26-7, a game they had to have. Which they did, and they also beat Tampa Bay pretty easily too. So it's clear that Buffalo has the ability to bounce back when they need to. The Bills' defense played phenomenally well after back-to-back kind of sketchy games. So the question is, do you trust the Bengals to put together back-to-back decent performances, or do you trust the Bills here, right, to put together another decent effort? I will tell you the Bengals have beat them both times in 2023, but these two teams haven't met since then. The Bengals' last game was totaled at 52, and the one before that was 51. The Bills' last game was totaled at 45, and the one before that was at 44. And guess what? This one is at 52, right? So 52.5, in fact. I think what probably happens here is that this game is going to be a shootout, man. I think the Bills have an out. I don't trust the Bills' defense to have back-to-back quality efforts. They have 7 points last game. The best back-to-back weeks they had was 9 against Carolina and then 21 against the Chiefs. So after 7 against the Steelers team that couldn't score at all, they're going to have to play catch up here against Cincinnati. I think if Buffalo was truly expected to do well, this line would be closer to 6.5 or 7, but it's closer to 5. I'm going to take the over, as I expect a very high scoring affair between these two teams. What I will tell you about this game, a couple points here, is that Hendrickson, the defensive tight end for the Bengals, is listed as doubtful for this week. On the Bills side, Bosa is listed as questionable after his hamstring injury, and Burrow is obviously back. Okay, all right, Craig. Moving on here, you get the game that you get now is going to be these Titans, only a 4-point dog against these Browns that are now led by Shedeur Sanders. Browns coming off an 8-26 loss against San Francisco. Tough game for Sanders, but they were actually down only 10-8 at the half. Tennessee comes into this game, losing 3-25 to Jacksonville after they had covered 3 in a row to the Chargers and Texans and Seahawks, all tight games, and then they had a bad game. What do you think happens here with the Titans as a 4-point dog on the road against Cleveland?
The last time Cleveland played a bad team, they took care of business. It was against the Raiders on the road. Shedeur's first start. I think it'll be similar this time. Myles Garrett he's going to set the sack record this year, and it's not going to be close. I think he's only, 3 behind right now with all these games left. He is just terrorizing teams. He's had 5 sacks, 4 sacks, and 3 sacks, I think, so far in games this year. I think he has a big sack number here. Cam Ward better watch out. This is a break-your-leg type of game if you're not careful against this Cleveland defense. I think Cleveland plays inspired football, and they're not helping their draft stock as they keep winning games, but I think they win, and I think they cover here, -4. Tennessee, they're at a point where 1-11, they'd be better off to lose out. And not that they need a quarterback, but then you can trade down and maybe get 2 or 3 draft picks for your overall first or second pick. So I think that's you're going to start to see Tennessee coasting here late. Next game, Denver Broncos. They found a way to win in overtime. Wasn't pretty at Washington last week on Monday Night Football. Now, that was Sunday Night Football. Now you see them at Las Vegas this week. Is there a letdown here? Denver's favored by 7.5, total of 40.
Well, it's hard to have a letdown when you suck. And that's what happened against this team when they played Washington 27-26. They did win in overtime. That's a bad game. They did pass for 315 yards and rush for 287, but their defense was really lacking, which is when you get Mariota that plays as well as he did, that's what's really surprising. Las Vegas comes into this game. They fired their offensive coordinator, but they still lost. I mean, they actually played relatively decent in the first half. It was tied 7-all, and of course the wheels fell off in the second half. I mean, the Raiders are 2-10. They're just so bad. It's so funny because how much Al Davis hated Pete Carroll, and yet Pete Carroll found himself a way back into this team's good graces. Why? To go 2-10? He's a good talker, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. At 70 years old, he can still talk a big game, just like he told Lane Kiffin to go get the LSU job because his dad, Monty Kiffin, would have told him to do so. We'll see how that works out too. But you have a Broncos team that sits at they won 10-7 last time. They didn't cover as Vegas fell well inside the number. Vegas has now missed 3 straight covers. Denver coming off a bad game. But I will tell you this. Denver's only missed back-to-back covers one time. I do think Denver doesn't take them as lightly as they did Vegas last time. I do think Denver plays much better than they did last time. I don't have any faith in these Raiders. I will tell you that these Broncos are the AFC West leading Broncos at 10-2. I will tell you that the Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton made a great recovery and return from a cancer diagnosis, which also boosts Denver's morale too. I'm going to take the Broncos minus the points here. Craig, Packers. Bears coming off one of their biggest wins in a long time, beating the Eagles 24-15. They beat the Steelers, Minnesota, New York, and Cincinnati. They are 9-3, and they get rewarded by being a 6.5-point dog to the Packers here. Packers coming off a 31-24 win on Thanksgiving Day against the Lions, beating the Vikings and Giants as well. It looks like they found their mojo a little bit. They're 8-3-1. These two teams met previously January 5th of last year when the Bears won by 2 points. Do you think these Bears have a letdown, or do you think the public continues to underestimate these Bears, and do you think these Packers have a letdown?
Well, remember, the Bears are 9-3. The Packers are 8-3-1. That tie. So if the Packers win this game, now they're leading the division. So it's like the Bears really, as you're patting yourself on the back, so to say, with the win against the Eagles. It's like, okay, this is such a tough division. You can't afford a letdown here. And I think it's just disrespectful. The Bears are the best running team in the league now. And their ability to run the ball and play defense, I think, is going to keep them in almost every game this year. Now, it's going to come down to the fourth quarter and quarterback play more often than not, especially come playoff time. That might be a weakness for them because Caleb Williams at times can be a little inaccurate. But I think this defense and run game will keep them in this. I mean, I don't think it should. I thought they should be like a 3.5 to 5 point favorite, and it's 6.5. I'd buy the half a point, get it to 7, take the Bears. I think they have a shot to win this game outright, but I do think we cover here. Next game, Rams at the Cardinals. Rams, speaking of another division that's extremely tight, we already talked about it. All these teams in this division, 9-3, 9-3, the Rams and the Seahawks, 9-4, the 49ers. Cannot afford to let down here. The Rams are 7.5 point favorite at the Cardinals this week. Total 48. What do you like?
Well, Rams losing his 10.5 point chalk at Carolina is a bad loss. But then again, Carolina is playing really well right now, right? You have Stafford that went 18 for 28, 243, but 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Bryce Young did what he needed to do, 15 for 20, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. There's no doubt that this Carolina defense is fantastic. Their draft picks on this Carolina defensive side of the ball has really paid off in a huge way for this team. And the Rams have yet to lose back-to-back games this season. They lost the Eagles last time, and then they beat the Colts. Arizona, of course, comes off yet another 3-point loss. We always laugh about it, how they're always a small dog. Lost by 3 to the Bucs, lost by 3 to the Jaguars, they continue to lose these tight games. And if you look at it, it's always their small dogs. Every time, no doubt about it. 7-point dog, 3-point dog, 7.5 point dog, 3.5 point dog, 2.5 point dog, 4-point dog. This is what they are game to game. So now you have them as a 7.5 point dog. I think the Rams are going to be pissed coming into this game. You get a contest, and Arizona obviously comes off a cover here against Tampa Bay in a game where they were actually playing really well, and they made a nice comeback, but it just wasn't enough. I think it's pretty simple. I think the Rams are going to be mad. I think they're going to come in focused here. Jacoby Brissett will start for this game once again. The Rams did activate Witherspoon this week, who's their cornerback, boosting some cornerback depth for them. And, of course, Marvin Harrison Jr. is still listed as questionable with that heel issue. I'm back in the Rams.
I think he's going to be out, I think I heard this week, so that could help your pick here.
Yeah, so he's obviously listed questionable, and it doesn't look like he's going to come back. So you have Houston here on Sunday night, Craig, as a 3.5 point dog against Kansas City. Houston off that big win against Indianapolis on the road as a 3-point dog, beating Buffalo, beating Tennessee, beating Jacksonville. We talked about it. They are known to have one of the best cultures in all of football right now, with the McNair family leading the way. A lot of good vibes in Houston, really well-run organization. DeMeco Ryans bringing good vibes there too. This team is 7-5, man. C.J. Stroud seems to have found his stride. 22 for 35, 276 yards last game. No touchdowns, 1 pick, but that was good enough. Kansas City losing to Dallas is a 3.5 point chalk. Kansas City is 6-6. They've lost 4 straight covers in 3 of 4 games. Who do you like here, Craig?
It's funny. They've been so good for so long, the Chiefs. They've done it different ways. Remember that first run? It's like their defense was terrible. They couldn't stop anybody, and the offense was just saving them. Then it came these last run, where the last 3 years where they won 2 championships. The defense picked them up, and the offense at times was lackluster. Now we're back to where it's the defense can't stop anybody when they need to, and the offense is kind of keeping them in games. It's just a lot to ask for Mahomes and an older, Kelsey now. It's just like every game's close for them. So if you're going to give me 3.5 points against the best defense in the league, this Houston Texans. Remember back when they won with Stroud out on the primetime game, they just annihilated Buffalo. Buffalo could not do anything against this defense. This defense is for real, and this is kind of an elimination game. Whoever loses this game, I think, is in real trouble to make the playoffs. And as much as we keep waiting for the Chiefs to make it, I think if they win, I just think it's by a field goal. So if you're giving me 3.5, I'm going to take the underdog here, Texans. I think they're live. I would sprinkle on the money line as well. All right, so that's what we have for NFL Week 14, Sunday's action. Don't forget, if you want in our top plays, we're going to have at least 10 plays in football this week between college football, it's championship week there, and the NFL all the way through Monday Night Football. How can you get on it? Very simple. You get 2 cappers for the price of one, $99, DocSports.com/Craig Arun, and get in on it. Of course, if you want in on our other plays here at YouTube Premium, very simple. Get whatever level you like. This is month prices. If you get the level 3, you get all of them. So less than $2 a day gets you some extra plays, and that's not just for football; it's for all sports. So make sure you get in on it.
And don't forget college basketball. I'm 20-6 out of the gates for plus 7,100. NBA 24-13 for plus 4,100. And YouTube Premium. It's my teaching channel. Join, and you can join Craig's as well and Lenny's as well. 3 tiers.
FYI, we're filming this on Tuesday. So if people join in and see the record might be different, of course it will be, because we'll have more plays. All right, so that's what we like for this week. Make sure you get in on it. We'll see you again next time. Put in the comments what you like and hit that thumbs up.